Welcome to the channel. It's SethResen22.com. So we are seeing a big shift in the market after Bitcoin hit about $45,000. Bitcoin is now trading about $42,000. So in this video, let's look at Bitcoin's chart to see what is likely to happen within the short to medium term. Okay, so now let's look at Bitcoin from the higher time frame to the lower time frame. So starting with the daily chart, we see that Bitcoin is at the moment trading in this broadening ascending wedge pattern. And this broadening ascending wedge pattern is usually a bearish pattern. But we recently started this pattern. So I expect Bitcoin to trade a little bit longer in this pattern, bouncing in between support and resistance before breaking out of the pattern, coming back down in price, and then pushing higher. Right. So that is what I would expect to see for Bitcoin if we follow this pattern. But at the moment, we are seeing a shift in the market after Bitcoin fell from the positive second standard deviation around $70,000. That is where we got our all-time highs for Bitcoin. And we see that Bitcoin fell to the negative second standard deviation around $33,000. And that is where we got the bounce for Bitcoin. And at the moment, we are seeing Bitcoin bounce. And Bitcoin is pushing towards the mean price, right? The mean price is also considered the fair price. And the fair price is around $48,000 in the daily time frame, right? But around the mean price, we also have the VPVR POC line, right? So we have the point of control over here where a lot of Bitcoin were traded, where Bitcoin were bought and sold. A lot of them were bought and sold in this price zone over here around $47,000, right? And that is also pretty close to the fair price, right? So around $48,000, $47,000, we will see a lot of resistance for Bitcoin, right? When we look at the Fibonacci retracement, we see that we have the 3H2 Fibonacci level around $47,000 as well, right? So there's a lot of confluence of resistance around between $47,000 and $48,000, right? So we see that as Bitcoin came close to the $46,000 price, right? Bitcoin got a rejection. Bitcoin got rejected, and now Bitcoin is pushing lower, right? So I expect Bitcoin to come back down to the support line around $40,000, right? So the $40,000 line over here, around the support line, I expect Bitcoin to come back down to it, right? And this line also is also in confluence with the negative first standard deviation. The negative first standard deviation is around 40,200, right? So around 40,200, we see a confluence over there as well. And I do expect Bitcoin to bounce after we hit 40,200. But there's also the possibility that that will not happen because of the Russia and Ukraine tension, and also the mess happening in the stock market, right? From all the inflation fears and the rate hikes fears from the Fed. That is also messing up the stock market. And since Bitcoin follows the stock market, in case the stock market dumps, then we should expect Bitcoin to dump as well, right? So around 40,200, that is the price to watch. If Bitcoin is not able to bounce from 40,200, then Bitcoin will come back down in price and push lower, right? So that's something you want to watch for the upcoming week. So taking a quick look at Bitcoin in the 4-hour time frame as well, we see that Bitcoin recently hit the positive second standard deviation in the 4-hour time frame as well, and we see a rejection. We got rejected around the positive second standard deviation, and I expect Bitcoin to pull back to the mean price in the 4-hour time frame, right? The mean price in the 4-hour time frame is around 40,200. So we see a lot of confluence even in the lower time frame as well for 40,200. So I do expect Bitcoin to fall back down to the mean price in the 4-hour time frame around 40,200 before bouncing higher, right? But there's also the possibility, like I said before, of we pushing lower. But I am leaning more towards a bounce around 40,200 and then pushing higher for Bitcoin. But let's look at some indicators in the 4-hour time frame as well. Let's look at the RSI. So from the RSI, we see that Bitcoin, the RSI is in a downtrend at the moment. The RSI is around 45, and I expect the RSI to push a little bit higher, get a bounce around the midpoint, and then come back down for a full reset before a new cycle starts, right? So I do expect a bounce around 40,200, like I said before. But now let's go to the MACD. From the MACD, we see that the MACD line, the blue line over here, is below the signal line, right? So the signal is now showing that the MACD or Bitcoin is losing momentum, right? So Bitcoin is losing momentum until the MACD crosses the signal line over here. I do expect further downside for Bitcoin. Now let's look at the squeeze momentum as well. So switching to the squeeze momentum, the squeeze momentum is also indicating a loss of momentum for Bitcoin. It indicates Bitcoin is losing momentum, and I do expect a reversal very soon, but there's the possibility of further downside from looking at the squeeze momentum as well. Okay, so from my analysis, there are a lot of indicators pointing to a possible drop to 40,200 before getting a bounce back to $46,000 or $47,000, where Bitcoin will see a lot of resistance. And that is what I'm paying attention to for the upcoming week, and something you may want to pay attention to for the upcoming week as well. But now make sure to help a brother out. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. And let me know which other cryptos you would like for me to cover in the comment section.